Ever been burned trying to trade major news? Well, we've all been there. So, in today's episode on Married to the Markets, we're going to be talking about why trading the news is a trap for newbies. My name is Chrissy.
And I'm George.
And we're going to talk about why this is such a big trap and what we tell our community. So, stay tuned until the end.
You have to ask yourself why trading for newbies, they get burned a lot. With events, when you have news, it comes with high volatility, it comes with high risk. So they have to definitely look and see what's gonna happen and pay attention to that. Sometimes the FOMO will kick in. So when you have news events, just know that news events equals high volatility equals high risk.
Exactly. And the market is not logical at all during those times. Sometimes when Powell speaks, you might think it's going to do this. When Trump speaks, when CPI comes out, there's so much different things that can make the market go up and can make the market drop. And we don't really know how that's going to play out. If anyone tells you they know for sure, they're not telling the truth.
Sometimes the price can be priced in and sometimes you don't know. So as a trader, some people will trade off of technical, some people will trade off of news. But what you have to realize is if you're a newbie, sometimes sitting on the sidelines is good. I know for me, I used to chase plays back in the day. So I used to be like, all right, news is coming out. As soon as I see news is coming out, I'm anticipating, especially in the Forex industry. They thrive off of that, right? But for me, it's like you just have to wait for the proper setups and then you go from there.
The spreads are going to be crazy at that time, right? The price is going to be off. Everybody's emotions is pretty high. And I don't know if you're really making logical decisions sometimes, especially when you're new, right? So we've kind of created our own routine from like the beforehand, the news, during the news, after the news. And that's just something that we hope that when we explain it might be able to help someone out there that's listening. So before the news, we kind of analyze, are we going to sit this out or are we going to actually trade this news? And it really comes down to what news is coming out, right?
Because for most of the times, I like to sit it out. I like to sit out and wait. And if I know that there's a news coming up, I hate the fact that I'm in trades while news is coming out. My risk level would be a lot less, especially with news coming out. Sometimes that's what I said. It's best when you could sit something out and probably wait on that reaction before you take something.
So we basically just scale down. So we may not go in like heavy positions or like say for the night before, right? We know that there might be news at 8:30 in the morning. So to limit our risk, and let's say we're in profit, we're going to take our profit. And that's just us. There are some people that are a little risky. For us, we're about making money on a daily basis. That's our whole goal. It compounds, you build, you grow. So for us, we're going to just scale out some of our positions. We may leave just a little low just to see what happens. But most of the times, I think we really much just scale out of our positions.
You may
beforehand.
Because sometimes you may want to leave a runner. But for the most part, if you have 10 contracts, I always tell people scale out. I always tell my community scale out because you want to feel good when you're trading and you're taking profit. It's okay if you take 10% profit on half of your trade, on 5 of the contracts, right? Then at 20%, you scale out again. And then you have runners as you go instead of trying to get 100% on the whole contract. And then it doesn't hit 100%. You're trying to wait. And then you end up losing because contract go to nothing.
Yeah. So another thing that we do before the news comes out, we just kind of wait for the confirmation to see, okay, did it play out exactly how we thought it was going to play out? You guys know we use Forex Factory calendar every single day. We want to know exactly what news is actually coming out. Our calendar is always on our computer. It's bookmarked.
That's one tabs that's always open, no matter before anything happens, before we trade. All right, what's going on today? When does news come out? If there's news coming out, at what time? So we could prepare ourselves. If we know that news is coming out at 9:45, we may not trade until after the news come out at 9:45. Because if you're entering into a trade and you didn't get out in time, the trade can go opposite of what you're doing because there's news out and you don't know what reaction the market could go during that news.
Because news is not only, okay, what did the president say or things of that nature? Yeah, that's news. But to me, earnings is a form of news just as well. So you guys have to look at what's the spread, what's the implied volatility, what are certain things. And these are just things that we analyze beforehand. Those are just some of the basics that we do. How would you say you handle like during the news?
Then not only that though, let's talk back about implied volatility,
Okay.
because I feel like that's very important. When you're talking about options trade, a lot of times, especially for newbies, they're seeing that Tesla or Google may have earnings this week. And it may be a point where you might want to sit those trades out because implied volatility is going to be very high on those. You're going to see implied volatility over 100%. And what that means is that the contracts or the premiums are a lot more expensive because of earnings. They're looking at a major shift to the upside or downside. You're going to have a lot more volatility. So you're paying more for those premiums. Now, what happens is after earnings, if it doesn't go in your direction, then those premiums come down really hard and really fast, and you could lose your money quick. Yes. So I always recommend like sitting out when earnings go on, because earnings is a gamble.
Yeah, especially if you're new. This is who we're talking to, people that are new. If you're an experienced trader, do as you please. Yeah. But for someone that's new, we're trying to help you save your capital. We're trying to help you grow. That's our whole purpose of Married to the Markets, to teach you things that we had to learn the hard way so you don't have to make those mistakes.
The crazy thing is how the chart's set up. The chart set up as, hey, Tesla looked like it's going to the upside, because that's one of the things I said, right? Tesla looked like it could go test the 350 level because it broke out. News come out on Tesla as far as earnings, Tesla dumb. So those are the things, regardless if you're analyzing the chart or not, even if you're experienced or not, when news comes out, it can go the opposite direction. When someone get a positive earnings, the positive earnings still can dump. Just like if you get negative earnings, the stock can just shoot, and you're expecting negative earnings will bring it down. So the reaction, sometimes that's why we say stuff being priced in, all that different stuff. So sometimes it's just best to be like, listen, you know what? I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to wait till this happens. That way the premiums come down, the implied volatility drops, and now I can trade it and I don't get chopped up as much.
Yeah. So for when news does start, right, we look at both the price action and we're looking at the news headlines. Because sometimes that news headlines will play into what we were already seeing on the chart. We do stick to our levels if we map out things every night. So George and I chart on the weekend. Right? We see what's going on for the week. And throughout the week, we just kind of chart just to give ourselves an update so we can see what plays are available to us. And even though there's news going on, sometimes that news can make a particular stock we were interested in gap up or gap down. If you've been following us, we don't play gap ups or gap downs. We're not chasing. We're not about that. So when there is news, we do look at, okay, there's headlines. It's in the news, right? And then we look at what price action, like what's going on.
For me, it's always, hey, pay attention to the analytics of it. I'm an analytical person. So I do TA a lot.
All right. Sometimes he says things better in Jamaican than he says it in English. Don't laugh at us. It's just what it is.
So the thing is, for me, TA is what I go off of. And sometimes they'll be like, is it the chicken or the egg, right? But sometimes the news play into TA. Sometimes it don't. So that's why with news, it's very important. CPI can come out. It come out good, but the market reacts different, right? There's a lot of different stuff. Unemployment might come out.
I love unemployment.
I love it. Is when you expect certain things to happen in the market did do what it supposed to, but all of a sudden it pulled back.
Yeah.
So when you're in profit, you take your profit. But going through the news situation, you have to decide, am I going to do price action or am I going to do news? Some people play reaction towards the news, and that's fine. If that works for you, then great. But as a new beginner, right, maybe it's just best if you just say, all right, let me see what it is that happened. And over time, I can enter the trade after experience.
But I would say maybe don't trade during news, and maybe trade after the news.
Yeah.
Because some people like to trade after the news, say, you know what, I'm going to give it 15 minutes after the news, let the market choose its actual direction. And to be honest, that might be a safer route.
Because like we mentioned before, implied volatility is going to be high. So because we know that, especially if you have something like CPI coming out, implied volatility is going to be high. In that case, you might want to sit and wait for the news to come out, let the market settle, and then always take the trade afterwards. Like in the mornings, I say when the market opens, the contracts are going to be at its highest in the morning. So when you wait 15 minutes before you do anything, you're waiting for those contracts to settle. And once they settle, then you could get a good understanding. Because if you buy that contract right out the gate, and the market is pushing up, you're buying at the highest. So once that pulls back, then you just bought at the high. So if it pulls back and keep dropping, then by the time it goes back up later on in the day, you're still losing.
So waiting after a certain period of the news, like 15, 30 minutes, you'll be able to catch reversals. You'll be able to see, okay, maybe this is just a continuation up, and you can decide at that time which one is which. And no matter what, even if it's 15, 30 minutes after the news, still manage your risks because anything can happen. We can say everybody's going to the highs, and then all of a sudden the market just dumps on you instantly. We've had situations like that. We're in and we're just going, and all of a sudden you just see this big red candle. And you're like, what the heck? Things can happen. So regardless, like you always say, take your profit, but manage your risk, especially when you're playing with news. It could be very dangerous. So we've made lots of mistakes. We're human just as well, right? But over the years, you learn, you figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You would give as a suggestion for someone from one of your mistakes, you would say, like
trading too soon.
Trading too soon after the news?
Trading too soon after the news. Just wait. Yeah. Sometimes it's not a rush. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You have to treat it like this is not a casino. This is not something to get high off of. This is something to make money, to change your life, to change your family life. So it's not about gambling.
I like how you said that. Get high off.
It's like
people be chasing. I get it.
Yeah. And like I said, I used to chase. I used to jump into FOMO. But when you give yourself time, then that will help you.
Yeah.
That will help you to make the better decision. And that will help you from saying, okay, my trade is confirmed, right? Because you waited, right? The trade get confirmed. You get a confirmation on your trade versus jumping in too early and then you get stuck because you're following trend and then all of a sudden it switches up on you.
For me, I would say it's going too heavy on those lottos. I'm just jumping in way too heavy. I should have went in with smaller positions, testers, making sure, because sometimes in the beginning you're chasing that bag, right? Yeah. Like you said, you're getting high off of it and so forth. So you're thinking like if you throw a quick bag, you can get in and get out. And sometimes that was a little risky for me. And so that was one of my mistakes that I learned. So when I'm trading news, I just don't go as heavy anymore because I guess when you touch the stove and you get burned, you learn, right? And so that was really something that I had to just deal with.
So it's just letting fear and that FOMO go so it doesn't dictate how you take your trades.
Yeah.
Because those are detrimental to your trading, those are detrimental to your capital. So you just want to make sure that you're protecting your capital at all costs. So in our community, what we normally tell our community is, hey, listen, we're not chasing. We're not chasing. I will sit and not do nothing at all.
Yeah.
Okay? Because no trade is also a good trade. You have to look at it. No trade is also a good trade. Why? Because you saw the reaction, you learned from the reaction, but also you didn't lose any money.
Correct.
Right? So in a sense, you still can say, all right, you know what? I saw how it behaves when the news come out, when the numbers comes out, how the market behaves, how the market reacts. I didn't trade. I didn't lose any money. Maybe next time when I see the news, when I see that number, I could say, all right, let me go in. But instead of going heavy, I take a little tester this time. And then as you get more experience, then you start saying, all right, now I could go a little bit more heavier in my trade. Now I could take it a little bit more risky, but you're still managing your trade accordingly.
Just wait for the right setups. As someone that's new and you're listening to this, wait for the right setups. There's always opportunities in the market. Don't think that this is the last opportunity. There's always something to present itself. Just take your time, review the charts, don't chase, get your emotions in check. Because if you do not have your emotions in check, it will tear you apart in this industry. Your emotions is the most important thing. And then I think everything after that, I'm big on psychology. This is why I like to journal. This is why I like to document certain things, because if you don't get here right, you're done. You got to be okay with losses. You got to be able to not let the wins get to your head either, because that's a big thing.
It is.
Somebody might get away trading the news, right? Your first time trading the news, you go heavy
and
you win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? The next time
you
go heavy, you lose your whole account.
Yep.
And you're ready to bawl and cry and shrivel up and go to bed.
And then and then it's like, oh, it's 1 out of 2. And then you go heavy again. You go heavy again and you lost again.
Yeah.
And you go heavy again.
And now you got to go ask your mom and daddy for some money to borrow because you need to get back in this game because you refuse to give up. No, that's not the concept of this, right? We're just trying to help you preserve your capital to grow. And just so you guys know, George and I, we heard everybody. We came up with our own Discord. The link is in the bio. You guys can come and join. We invite all the married people to come in and join with us. Even you single people too, we show you love. Come in and trade with us. You know, we do live call out. We trade together as a family in this community. If one eats, we all eat. And most people struggle in finding a community like ours where we care about you. We want to see you win. We provide the education. We do mentorship and we hold your hand throughout the process. We don't just tell you, oh, we got in, oh, we got out. No, we tell you, okay, we're getting here in these calls, and this is the strike price, this is the expiration. And we kind of walk you throughout the process, because on the live, I really feel like it's teaching lessons, right? You don't just sit there and we just get in, get out. No, we're teaching you, because the purpose of this is so you can fish, right? You can figure out how to do this on your own. Yes, we want you to stay with us forever, right? But it's something that you can teach your children, you can teach your grandchildren, and you just have to have a goal when coming into trading. You have to say, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. And if you feel that George and I are the right people for you, just click on the link in the description, come on over, check us out. It don't cost you nothing to come on over and say hello. So just come on over. We do have a mentorship coming up. We have a 6-week mentorship. It's starting August 18th. So if you're really wanting to learn and make a difference, well, good news, we're ready for you. And we want to help you. It's an intensive 6 weeks, but I'm asking you guys to just lock in for that period of time, because this can be life-changing for you and your family. Yeah, so it's limited as far as seats as well. Just click on the link in the description and I will have it there for you, right? Because it's in my stand store. I just have, right now we have a waiting list for people. Everybody's getting registered and excited. And like I said, it's a limited amount of people that we're taking in, because we really want to focus on you. We want to actually teach you, because during the live sessions, you're going to be asking your questions and getting things. So like I said, we're holding your hand throughout the process, right? We'll go over all that details later, but come into the Discord, sign up, connect with us, follow us on social media. I got a new Married to the Markets TikTok. Guys, we're on TikTok now, right? So George is on TikTok, but now Married to the Markets is on. So come on, let's have fun. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you found value in this, share this video with someone. Comment below. Let us know your biggest takeaway in the comments, and let's just connect, guys. All right, guys. We'll see you. Bye. Bye.